how much longer I was on the show.
You've helped me grow.
How much longer I was going to be at FS1.
More than you ever know.
That level of disrespect wouldn't be tolerated.
Okay, this is not easy for me either.
After a heartfelt and teary goodbye just a year ago.
Is when you lay your head on that pillow at night. You know, I gave you everything I had.
You did.
I gave you everything I had.
Shannon Sharpe has gone on to destroy Skip Bayless in the ratings, build his own empire, and most recently sign a multi-year contract extension with ESPN.
Stephan A, I know this moment is not possible without you. And as you mentioned to me earlier, you have bosses, but you extended the olive branch and let them know that you wanted me to be a part of this family.
Fox bet on the wrong guy, and now they're paying for it with the subpar show that nobody cares about, dwindling ratings, and an aging host who is starting to sound more confused than Antonio Brown.
Porzingis? Porzingis?
Evil leprechaun lurking under their beds.
Shannon Sharpe has always been one of my favorite NFL players, so I've rooted for him as he's grown into his television roles. I also think he's building something as big as Pat McAfee on his own YouTube channel, and ESPN recognizes that as well.
Big Dick Deviance is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them.
So today I'm going to discuss Sharpe's rise, why he's crushing it, and the real reason he left Undisputed a year ago, which is different than what we were pitched. I'm Brandon Perna, That's Good Sports, and we are about to go balls deep into Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless. Ooh, 2 for 1. Hey, if you want somebody worse than Shannon Sharpe, but better than Skip Bayless, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Now, I cannot reiterate just how badly Fox Sports fumbled the Shannon Sharpe situation. They had one of the most talented guys in all of sports media sitting across from an aging dinosaur who pretends to love the Cowboys.
I am the Dallas Cowboys.
And they bet on that dinosaur.
How about them Cowboys? Thank you, that felt pretty good.
Now, let me back up for just a second though. Shannon Sharpe joined Skip Bayless on Fox Sports as his co-host for Undisputed back in 2016. If you don't know, Skip used to co-host First Take with Stephan A. Smith on ESPN, a show they grew together, starting in the early 2010s, capitalizing on LeBron's decision and Tebow Mania, a show that changed the way sports media was consumed and created in terms of formats. In 2016, despite the show's popularity, Skip Bayless left ESPN for FS1 and created Undisputed, where he brought in Shannon Sharpe as his co-debater. Skip and Shannon worked together for 7 years and honestly were pretty good as a yin and yang. Sharpe, of course, being the white yin and Skip being the black yang. Now, I'm not one for the debate format in terms of the way I personally like to consume sports information.
You're childish. That is very childish. Let me talk to you.
Your opinion is childish.
Go ahead.
Go.
But it's a big business, and even though Skip didn't invent the format, he made it insanely profitable through his rise at ESPN.
I don't think he's a big enough personality to handle Bynum and Kobe.
Regardless of what you think of Skip Bayless, Sharpe and Skip worked well with each other because they knew their roles and played them well.
So how the hell you gonna talk about let's ride? Your car broke down. Either you out of gas or the car need repaired. But Russell Wilson has got to play better.
Even if you disagreed with Shannon Sharpe, it still felt better than whatever Skip was spewing.
It took LeBron 13 NBA seasons to have his defining moment. One day, I am predicting, Johnny Manziel will become even bigger in the city of Cleveland than his buddy and business partner LeBron James ever was. Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard.
As Sharpe was growing in that role, he began chipping away on his social brand and building a YouTube channel, Club Shay Shay, one of the few nice things born in the peak of the 2020 pandemic. Now, this is not an episode about Skip Bayless, although I should probably do one because his rise is quite fascinating. He's an easy target now, and I think that's mostly because he's done this for too long. But it's important to note that both Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith credit Skip for the opportunity he provided them sitting across to debate sports on his shows.
You've allowed me to share the stage with you. You've allowed me to share the platform. And last but not least, Skip Bayless. You fought for me, bro.
Matter how problematic, and he can be problematic at times. The reality is that I wouldn't be where I am today if he didn't give me that opportunity on First Take.
Thank you for never taking a sick day.
You know I would tell him he's wrong to his face.
Right.
He knows where I stand.
I want to thank you for preparing as hard as you could every single day, every single topic.
But it doesn't take away my love and appreciation for him.
And while I believe FS1 was dumb to let Sharpe go, I'm sure in Bayless's mind he thought he could find and cultivate the next Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe. The problem is, those dudes are incredibly rare and unique. Everything went to shit though when Skip Bayless tweeted this during the Damar Hamlin Monday Night Football game. The world was prepared to watch the Bills and Bengals, two of the best teams in the AFC, fight for seeding in a key late season Monday night game. It was one of the most anticipated games of that season. Then Damar Hamlin and T. Higgins collided on a routine play and Hamlin's heart stopped beating on the field. We all sat and watched in horror and confusion as the medical staff literally brought him back from the dead. Also, Joe Flacco could one-up him by being old and winning Comeback Player of the Year. Damar Hamlin returned from heaven, and Joe Flacco returned from his couch. Now, during that game, during the elongated moments of horror, Skip Bayless tweeted this: "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant." And because we all know who Skip Bayless is, this tweet still sits on his account.
Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
And has over 100,000 responses, almost all of them negative. Athletes and people called for him to be fired. He delivered an apology the next morning on Undisputed, a show Sharpe did not attend.
I apologize for what we're going to set out to do here today if it offends anyone, because the last thing we want to do is offend anyone by trying to do what we always do, which is talk about sports.
Skip used a lot of words, but never really said he was sorry. On the next First Take, when Sharpe returned, this is what we got.
Let me
Okay.
finish.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead. Let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting
Okay.
me.
Well,
you could have came back, Skip.
well, I thought-
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were gonna bring up
No,
this.
I was just going to say, Skip. I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanations, so clearly somebody.
No, they
had a
did
problem.
not have. Nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
And that's when we all assumed Sharpe was done and ready to move on. The problem, and it's always been the problem with Bayless, is he can't admit when he's wrong. He's done this for so long with sports takes, he can't differentiate that with real life shit. And Shannon Sharpe was getting tired of dealing with it. Sharpe was also becoming bigger than Skip, just like Stephen A. Smith before him. That interaction compounded with 7 years of dealing with this.
What?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than
Way
you.
better.
Skip, what does that got to see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started.
And Skip Bayless has been taking personal shots at the guys sitting across from him literally his entire career.
I dedicated my life to basketball. So if I feel like somebody wants to cross the line and challenge how I feel about the game, I study this, I do this, I took it personal. And that's what happened yesterday in our debate.
And he was losing a debate to attack me personally. When I've stood up, when guys have come on that show and tried to attack him personally, I was his bodyguard. I took the blows and said, hey, this is Undisputed, Skip and Shannon. This is not yours.
You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just
Go ahead.
Led to divorce. However, we all thought Shannon Sharpe made the decision to leave Undisputed. Then I watched this interview he had on the Black Money Tree podcast, a show I hope to be asked to guest on one day, and Sharpe revealed he was fired from the show.
It hurt me to lose because I had put so much into that job. And so now, I look at it and say, now I'm no longer talent. You can't fire me from Shay Shay Media because I own it.
Yeah.
At least that's how I take what he's saying here, and I think most people walked away with that conclusion.
I would have looked at it that way if Shannon left of his own volition. I'm telling you he didn't. I'm telling you he was pushed out.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Well, I'm telling you.
And this is what I told my bosses, that I don't want to get too specific.
Okay.
I said, had the shoe been on the other foot, what would have been the outcome? Had I attacked him personally, live on television, what would have happened?
And that was a surprise. It was news to me. Credit to Sharpe and Skip and FS1 because a year ago, this was pitched to us as a mutual parting of ways. But it seemed like Fox was doing right by Sharpe and allowing him to spread his wings and soar somewhere else. We all thought Sharpe deserved to be free from Skip's pasty claws. Now we know the real reason Sharpe left is because Fox didn't want him there anymore.
I really don't have, I've never had a whole lot of relationship with the bosses because I really never really saw them. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, we're going out to lunch or we going out to dinner or things like that. That wasn't the case. You was telling me things that were going on at Fox. Hell, I didn't know it. I'm like, hold on. I drive to this building every day. How the hell you know what I don't know?
They had options. They could have transitioned Skip out of the show and handed the keys to Sharpe. They could have given Sharpe the chance to develop his own show, kind of like we saw Stephen Colbert do when he left The Daily Show and made the Colbert Report on Comedy Central. Instead, they cut ties with Sharpe altogether, probably in an effort to appease Skip Bayless's ego. Whoever made that decision should be fired. Like most people, I can't fuck with Skip Bayless. I just can't.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
I hate the way he got to where he is, which is making shit up about athletes for eyeballs. But even I have to admit, he got to where he is because he gets people emotionally invested in what he's saying about sports. He was entertaining, was being the key word there, thinking he is the future of sports talk and sports media. Well, that was silly. Since Shannon left, we have seen his stock rise like 2017 Bitcoin and Skip slowly decline like the DVD industry in Hollywood. Now Shannon Sharpe is king shit and the possible heir apparent to Stephen A. Smith on ESPN. Sharpe signed a multi-year contract with ESPN and I couldn't find a number on it, but I have to guess it's close to the $17 million per year McAfee is earning. Speaking of McAfee, Sharpe has skyrocketed past Pat on YouTube in terms of subscribers. Club Shay Shay now has 3.24 million, McAfee sitting around 2.5, and Pat started the YouTube game 3 years before Shannon. And one of the most insane things to happen on the Club Shay Shay YouTube channel was Shannon Sharpe's interview with Cat Williams, which blew up to astronomical proportions and apparently earned Shannon Sharpe over $5 million for that episode alone.
Let me see
If
that.
you think I made $2 million, 3x, I made more money on Cat Williams alone than I made in any year that I played the NFL.
Making Sharpe doubling down on that YouTube channel one of the smartest investments of his life. And please to God, may I have one video, just one video ever earn me $5 million. Holy fuck, that's what I aspire to. Now maybe one of the most significant things to happen on any sports platform over this last year was not the Super Bowl, but that Cat Williams interview going viral on Sharpe's show. I'd say it was almost bigger than the Super Bowl in terms of its lasting effect on pop culture. That 2-hour and 46-minute interview now has 71 million views. That interview has pretty much nothing to do with sports. That one video helped Sharpe add over 1 million new subscribers in a single month, catapulting him past McAfee. Plus, his second channel with Chad Johnson, or Ocho Cinco, whatever, Nightcap, has 1.3 million subscribers. To me, Sharpe is the current king of sports media, and he's winning by not being in our face every second of the sports day like Stephen A. Smith or Pat McAfee right now. I think he hits the quality over quantity better than any of the big names, and we're going to see if that changes, though, with his new deal with ESPN. Shannon is building an empire that's sports-centered, but not sports only. It's why his channel added those million subs in a month. Something McAfee hasn't done on his channel yet. Something very few YouTubers can or will ever do. The addition of Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharpe to ESPN at the same time was incredibly smart. And so far, that move has paid serious dividends for the company. Sharpe's arrival directly weakened First Take's biggest competition in Undisputed.
If I had 1,000 tongues, I couldn't thank you enough for what you did for me when I was at my lowest and I didn't know where I was going to go. You called me and said, bro, everything's going to be okay. I got you. So thank you, ESPN, Disney family.
We should all thank Shannon Sharpe for proving something we already knew to be true. Nobody is currently actively seeking out a show hosted by one Skip Bayless. Since leaving Skip's show, two things have happened. Sharpe has exploded in pretty much every aspect of his media game. It was like Skip's stank on him was holding him back, even in his own endeavors. Sharpe has strong numbers on ESPN. Club Shay Shay and his show with Chad Johnson are doing the kind of YouTube numbers I literally jerk off to. Skip Bayless's numbers on Fox have nosedived. His YouTube channel numbers are so low that I think about them to prevent me from jacking off. In March, Skip's show on Fox hit 50,000 viewers per show. First Take was hitting close to 500,000 viewers per show. And even the re-airing of ESPN's Get Up was doing better numbers than Undisputed. I think Fox Sports has been under the impression that Skip was the reason people watch. Turns out, he needs the yin to his yang, not 3 or 4 yangs that rotate in and out. Essentially, First Take is doing 10x better than Undisputed in terms of viewership, posting its most watched May ever, averaging 513,000 viewers. That was up 6% from 2023. It marked the show's 22nd consecutive month of year-over-year growth. The next move over at ESPN, though, may be Stephen A. Smith's departure.
Because I'm not going to do this forever, and when it's my time to go, it's my time to go.
Right.
And it's time for somebody else to step up.
Some believe he is prepping Sharpe as his predecessor. Smith's ESPN contract expires next year. He's vocalized that he wants to be the highest paid employee at ESPN, which would boost his salary into the $20 million per year range. A year after I posted my rise and fall at ESPN video, the company has made all of the right moves, and Shannon Sharpe is proving to be their savviest one yet.
Burn that bridge to the ground.
Thanks for watching That's Good Sports here on YouTube. Again, please subscribe, especially if you're still watching and you haven't subscribed. That means I didn't piss you off yet. Sharpe's at 3 million subscribers. My goal is just to get to that first million. Just got to get Can somebody get Cat Williams on this show?